Good afternoon, class. Today we're going to be talking about cells, specifically animal cells and plant cells. The first thing I would like you to do is get out your My Cell book that I gave you at the end of class. When you open it up, you're going to see green note cards on the left side with vocabulary words and definitions, but your definitions will not be filled in. As you watch this video, you will fill them in. And then on the back, you're going to have animal cell vocabulary words. And then as you go through your booklet, you're going to have My Cell glossary. I went through and picked out some words that I thought you may not know, and the definitions too, so you can look there. And of course, if there are more that you don't know the definitions to, you can look them up or ask me tomorrow in class. And then here is a plant cell diagram. It's very simple and basic, and I highlighted the words that you really need to know. And so you can use that. And then here's the animal cell diagram. And I also highlighted the words you needed to know for this one and where to locate them in the cell and what they look like. All right. Okay, there are a lot of parts to a plant cell, but today we're going to be learning about 6 parts of the plant cell. So this is a good time to take out your My Cell notebook and look on the left side. At the green note cards, there's going to be vocabulary words, and I'm going to tell you the definitions. All right, the first one we're going to start with is the cell membrane, which is a thin layer of fat and protein that surrounds the cell. It is semi-permeable, which means it allows some things to enter the cell, but it will also block things from entering the cell as well, which is a good thing because we don't want bad bacteria getting into the cell. I don't know if you've ever had the stomach bug or anything, but that is when bad bacteria has entered the cell and it can make you sick. Moving forward to the cell wall, which is a thick, rigid membrane that surrounds a plant cell. It gives the cell support and structure, which is awesome. And what's actually interesting is the animal cell does not have a cell wall, but the plant cell does. This is also a good time to look at that plant diagram that I put in your My Cell booklet and check out what the cell membrane looks like and the cell wall and the other parts of the plant cell we're going to be going over. The third vocabulary word I want you to fill in is the vacuole, which is in a plant cell there's one large vacuole that takes up 90% of the cell volume. And I really would like you to look at your diagram and see this because in the animal cell, the vacuole is much smaller than in the plant cell. All right, so now we're going to look at chloroplast, which is one elongated or disc-shaped organelle containing chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is in that My Cell glossary. It's a green pigment found in green plants. And also in chloroplast, photosynthesis occurs here. If you don't remember what photosynthesis is, it is when light energy is turned into chemical energy in the plant. So as you can see, I drew a sun pointing down at the plant. Chlorophyll, you see the green in the plant. Carbon dioxide, water, you see glucose is formed and oxygen is released. And we see the light energy turning into chemical energy. All right, and the next vocabulary word we're going to talk about is cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like material outside the cell nucleus in which organelles are located. And the last one we're going to mention is the nucleus, which is a big part of the cell wall, or a big part of the plant cell. It's a spherical body containing many organelles and controls functions in the cells. It also contains DNA and chromosomes, so we also have a nucleus in our cells as well. Okay, now we're going to talk about the 4 parts of an animal cell. Again, the animal cell has lots of parts to it, but we're just going to hit on 4 of them. This would be a good time to turn to the last page in the My Cell book, and you're going to see vocabulary cards, and I want you to fill those in. The first one we're going to talk about is the cell membrane, which is just the same. It functions the same way as in the animal cell as it does in the plant cell. So it's a thin layer of protein and fat that surrounds the cell, and it's semi-permeable, which means that, again, it's allowing the good stuff into the cell while blocking out bad bacteria that we don't want in the cell. Next, vocabulary, what we're going to talk about in the next function in the animal cell is cytoplasm, which is a jelly-like material outside the cell nucleus in which organelles are located. Alright, the next function we're going to talk about is the nucleus, which is a spherical body containing many organelles, including the nucleolus. It controls many functions, one of those being protein synthesis, and contains DNA in the chromosomes, which is really important. And if you have questions about these words, protein synthesis, organelles, be sure to look in My Cell Glossary because I explain a lot of these things. You can also ask me tomorrow in class and we'll talk a little more about it. The last vocab word for the animal cell is vacuole, which is fluid-filled membrane-surrounded cavities inside a cell. The vacuole fills with food being digested and material waste that is on its way out of the cell. Again, I really want you to take the time and look at both the animal cell diagram and the plant cell diagram and compare the two, see what similarities they have and also see what differences they have. Because tomorrow when you come in class, I want you to bring your My Cell book and we're going to be making an actual plant cell out of candy that you'll get to eat afterwards. So make sure you bring your books because you're going to need them, and I will see you tomorrow.